Yep. So we're live. This is not clickbait. This is not clickbait. I had to put on the old guy's hat for this because this is the time that we're going back to. Like, laws will no longer matter. Judge Aileen has just dismissed the case, saying that Jack Smith. I thought there was a separation between the branches, number one, but I guess not. Saying that Jack Smith. Saying that Jack Smith shouldn't be the counsel. I'll let Luke Beasley and the lawyer talk about it because they'll do it better than I can. I just wanted to bring you the news in case you haven't seen it.
I want to bring in our legal expert, Aaron Parnas, to break it down for you all. Aaron, Donald Trump's classified documents case overseen by Judge Aileen Cannon, who, it should be noted, was appointed by Donald Trump, has just been dismissed by Judge Aileen Cannon.
Wow.
Thrown into the trash. Now, this will likely or inevitably be appealed by the prosecution side, but I do want to hear from you, your initial thoughts. And
before we go any further, here's the deal. We have been playing fast and loose with this monster. We've been playing fast and loose with this monster for 4 years. He should have been indicted on all of these charges 4 years ago. All of the charges 4 years ago. But instead, Biden lets the old DOJ stay in charge. And while they pussyfoot around and act like, well, we don't know if we should do it, how will it look? While we're still worrying about how it will look, meanwhile, they got a 900-page manifesto to get rid of every right that you have if you're not white and male. They never asked how would it look. But we pussyfooted around, and now at the end, when it's already too late, is when we're here letting these people do stuff like this. So let's start there.
just some of the initial details that we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a crazy, crazy decision. I mean, like, I don't think any legal expert really predicted Judge Cannon to dismiss this case based on the appointments clause. So for your viewers, kind of a high-level approach here, Judge Cannon dismissed the Mar-a-Lago Documents case, saying that Judge or Special Counsel Jack Smith was improperly appointed under the Constitution's appointments clause, and that the indefinite funding structure of the appointment was also improper, essentially saying that the executive branch usurped legislative authority when appointing Jack Smith to the case. It's pretty weird given the fact that we've had special counsels in the past, like Robert Mueller, and even, if you recall, David Weiss, who is a special counsel responsible for the Hunter Biden prosecutions, appointed under similar structures, and their appointments have been upheld. But here, Judge Cannon takes essentially Justice Thomas's concurrence in the recent immunity decision and applies it to dismiss Trump's Mar-a-Lago Documents case in full. And it's a pretty radical decision. I mean, it's a 93-page opinion. I've read through most of it. It is likely going to be overturned on appeal in front of the 11th Circuit, and I doubt this Supreme Court would uphold this decision in any way. But overall, a pretty crazy decision.
You doubt? Here we go. Good and decent people of YouTube. If I hear one more time, I love Luke Beasley. I've seen the lawyer here a few times. If I hear one more daggone time anybody say with a straight face, I doubt the Supreme Court will uphold it ever again, I swear to God, I'm going to hit the roof with my head. I'm going to jump so high out of disbelief. What? Where is the... How are we so... Where's the disillusion coming from? What will it take? What will it take? I'm going to let you guys watch Luke Beasley, and I won't do any more from him. We'll use these people
So what is
who hate
ClickUp?
us
ClickUp is an
and who are
all-in-one
paid
productivity
by,
software where you can manage everything and anything
corporations
related to your
deceive
work.
us.
Your
We'll
documents,
play their
your
stuff
chat.
and not worry about
Judge
it.
Aileen Cannon, she has dismissed the
I'd
Trump
rather you go
classified
pay Luke
documents
Beasley
case
some money.
because the special counsel prosecution is in violation of the appointments clause of the Constitution. Of course, the special counsel in the case may appeal this case, so the saga may not be over yet, but that breaking news just coming into us right now at CNN. Let me go to CNN's Caitlin Polance. She joins me now. Caitlin, I know this is a very sudden development with lots of implications. What can you tell us?
Yeah.
Number one, I need to find out after we're going to listen. We're going to keep listening, but I have to interject because it's my show as well. Maybe you want to hear what I have to say, but I need to know at what point will Jack Smith file to get this crazy Neanderthal removed, this dummy, this idiot, this person who has never done a federal trial, who was handpicked, this DEI hire. How about that? This person who was handpicked by Trump. At what point was he going to ask? When she was slowing it down beyond belief? When she stopped all proceedings until further notice? He didn't ask? When she threw out necessary portions of the case, she didn't ask? When she was yelling at them for asking questions about what the heck the defense is doing, he didn't ask? Will he file now? I wonder. Or maybe he's of the opinion that, well, you know what, maybe the Supreme Court won't. I doubt they'll uphold it. Maybe he's also that delusional. At what point can we ever take it seriously?
Judge Aileen Cannon is closing the classified documents case against Donald Trump. This was
Wow.
charged about a year ago in the Southern District of Florida, where prosecutors from the special counsel's office, so an office that was appointed by Merrick Garland for the particular reason to look at this in some sort of protected, independent way from the rest of the department, they brought more than 30 charges against Donald Trump for
Look at those boxes. Number one, I'm going to reiterate. You know why they have a special counsel? So that it doesn't look bad. That's why. Because we're dealing with fools, with idiots, who are playing knife fight at a gun battle. Biden and the DOJ decided that they were going to let his son get arrested and thrown in jail, but doesn't have the balls to do what's necessary to stop someone from selling nuclear secrets. So that the right will think that he's doing the right thing. How's that working out for you, Joe? How's that working out for you? Merrick Garland, right-winger, who should have been replaced, but Biden didn't want to because he wanted to unite us. How you feeling united now? You feeling that unity? You loving it yet? You kumbaya yet? When are you going to ask to get her thrown out? Now that it's obviously too late? When are you going to get the new DOJ? Replace him. You're the executive, Biden. You're so clean. You're so united. Your son will go to jail. And the guy who's selling nuclear secrets will not. How's it working for you, Joe? Democratic Party? How many more handshakes? How many more handshakes? I'll tell you what. Go ahead and get the chambers ready for 2025. And then you can all shake hands and hold hands on the way to them. when they send you there while you're waiting for the unity. How's it working out, Merrick Garland?
Handling classified records after the presidency and for obstructing justice, that investigation, trying to keep them when the government wanted them back. Judge Cannon is now saying that prosecutor doesn't have the ability to bring this case in court, and thus it must be dismissed. What she's doing here, Jim, is very much in line with what Justice Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court said in a concurrence just a few days ago in the presidential immunity case. He wrote about the special counsel's office and Judge Cannon's finding here. The reason that this case can't go before her is she says this special counsel just doesn't have the power in the way that she reads the Constitution. Thus, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. The point of all of this is, like I said before, don't panic. The point of all of this is not to get scared, not to throw up your hands. It's to realize that the justice system, black folks have realized it for a long time, will not save you. You want to know why the number one reliable group of people to vote democratically is black women? Because they've always known that no one will save them but themselves. They vote the most, and then they march the most, because they don't vote someone in thinking they'll be saved by that person. They know we always have to fight. All of you out there saying, I'm not going to vote for Biden because of Hamas, Israel. I guarantee you, you're saying that because you think you're safe where you are. Those of us who know that the justice system will not save us, has never saved us, that the government only works when we push it and prod it and sit on it. Like Derek Chauvin. Will you vote? Or the Democratic Party still not passing that purity test for you?
Caitlin, I mean, reading what the judge says in this ruling, it says both the appointments and appropriations challenges as framed in the motion raise the following threshold question. Is there a statute in the United States Code that authorizes the appointment of Special Counsel Smith to conduct this prosecution? After careful study of the seminal issue, the answer is no. And it seems, she goes on to say, the executive's growing comfort in appointing regulatory special counsels in the more recent era has followed an ad hoc pattern with little judicial scrutiny. And so, I mean, she really is slamming the fact that there is a special counsel that's been appointed in all of this. But it makes you wonder, Caitlin, why she didn't raise this a while ago. I mean, how is this coming up now?
Look at this stupid look on his stupid face. This is why no one believes CNN. This is why no one believes cable news. The one person who's not used to being on cable news is the woman in red. Look at her face. She realizes the danger. You can tell she's not used to being on here, playing the game, getting paid to talk crap. Why didn't this happen before? That's not the question. The question is, when will he get her thrown out? The question is, what is Merrick Garland doing? The question is, why is the people flying racist and anti-American flags on the Supreme Court and people getting paid with money and boat rides and plane rides not being impeached yet? These questions are foolishness. Look at the surprise on his face, which is like, I just don't understand why this wouldn't happen earlier. Aren't you the newsman? Aren't you the context giver? You should be saying, we knew that she was going to do something like this. I'm wondering why Jack Smith hasn't already gotten her off the bench. That's the question. Not why didn't she do this earlier. It's a dumb question. You're not a fool. You know the answer. But this game that we play, that's why you're losing all of your viewers. My mom is 70-something years old. The last bastion of hope for cable news is her. Yesterday she was watching Law and Order. She turned off the news because she's tired of it. Of your milquetoast. Of your full outrage. Of your stupid questions. Of your non-contextual takes.
It's coming up now because she's just getting to it now. This is something that Trump's team had brought up to
Thank you,
her
lady.
months
She's the
ago,
only one who
and
looks
she
serious.
just held a hearing on it just a few weeks ago in June before her, and she did seem to want to really look into, is there enough here?
Oh God! Now
her to allow the special
someone's in her
counsel
ear
to
saying,
move
"Calm it
forward
down,
under
girl.
the
We have to look
Constitution."
like it's
And
both
then we get
sides."
that Thomas concurrence from the Supreme Court basically outlining that he doesn't believe, at least him, no other justices signed on to it, but at least Thomas didn't believe that the special counsel's office is appropriate. There have been, though, Jim, several other special counsel office prosecutions that people have tried to test this idea that there isn't the authority to bring in a special counsel to bring a case like this against anyone, let alone it be Donald Trump or not. And those cases have moved forward and gone to trial. This one, though, it's different. And Judge Aileen Cannon is ruling differently than other judges related to special counsel Jack Smith and says no more in Florida.
Fascinating development.
Fascinating
And it makes you wonder whether or
development.
not the special counsel.
There you have it, folks. Fascinating development. Nuclear secrets sold. CIA agents, secret agents, names sold. Dates sold. Family members sold. Fascinating development. Fascinating development. Russia's on the march. Getting weapons with Kim Jong-un. Biden's trying to stop a partnership of getting weapons development with Russia. Nuclear secrets sold. Fascinating development. Fascinating development. This is a fascinating development. Thanks, CNN. Fascinating development it is. Fascinating development. I'll check back in if I hear anything new, unless you guys have something to say in the chat. I'm eager to hear the fascinating developments myself. Fascinating development, Jim. That's his. Those are his questions. Have you heard a pertinent one yet from him? This is why we watch independent media.
The initial details.
Let me show you who asks a pertinent freaking question.
Appointed under similar prosecutions, appointed under similar structures, and their appointments have been upheld. But here, Judge Cannon takes essentially Justice Thomas's concurrence in the recent immunity decision
Let me show
and
you
applies it
why
to
people have stopped watching that fake plastic news. Fascinating development, Jim. Boring question. Why didn't she do it earlier? I don't know. I am not smarter than a 5th grader, but I get paid millions. Let me tell you why you watch independent news. Like me! And better yet, like Luke Beasley. I'm not afraid to say that. Watch him.
But overall, a pretty crazy decision.
Absolutely. I want to give my initial thought, then throw a pretty big question at you as to the future of Cannon's involvement in this case. But it's interesting, the big narrative, as all of you have seen from MAGA folks, has been that everything's weaponized against Trump. And
That's the fascinating development. Stop watching them. Stop watching cable news. They hate you. You're a dolphin in the water meant to play games. You're an asset. You're a Nielsen rating tick on a piece of paper.
Ideology is trumping, pardon the pun there, is superior in the minds of these prosecutors to executing the law correctly. But as we've gone through in detail with
CNN asks, well, why didn't she do this earlier? Luke Beasley answers the question because the question is easily answered, because they find any reason they want to get the outcome they want. That's not a question. She's obviously a sycophant.
with Aaron Parnas many times, that doesn't seem to
Why couldn't CNN ask that question? Fascinating development, Jim.
With the evidence that's being brought forward and the facts of these cases. But it's interesting, and because of the wild conspiracy theories levied the way of Biden often by MAGA folks about these Trump cases, I'm hesitant to say things that sound similar the other way. But it's stunning how, because of that, or riding alongside that narrative, you actually have this situation developing where it really does seem ideology in the other direction is tainting our justice system, and justice prevailing, the equal application of the law with Cannon, who, again, this is my speculation, but I think there's some facts to back it up, seeming ideologically driven to help Trump. Supreme Court justices also having these bizarre and Trump-favoring rulings that will have wild implications. That seems ideologically driven and partisan almost. So that's stunning to me. My first question, if you want to speak to that, feel free. But then my first follow-up is, could this be justification for Jack Smith to try to get Aileen Cannon kicked off of overseeing this case?
Perfect question. CNN, that's why my mom was watching Law and Order yesterday and not the news like they normally do. You've even lost them. CNN, that's a fascinating development. That's the question.
100%, and I would expect him to ask for that, actually. I think you'll see Jack Smith quickly appeal this decision to the 11th Circuit, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the 11th Circuit summarily rejects Judge Cannon's position and just kicks it back on remand to the Southern District of Florida. And I think as part of the remedy Jack Smith is going to seek, he's going to seek some type of reassignment or recusal remedy here, because it's been clear ever since inception that Judge Cannon has really been more favorable to Trump, and kind of these weird and novel legal theories that...
Here's my question. Not why did it take so long for Judge Aileen Cannon to come to this conclusion, because you're a fool if you don't know that, newsman, $1 million getting paid newsman. The question is, why... If since its inception, it's been clear to everyone with a brain that's not mush that she has been a sycophant for the defense, why hasn't Jack Smith already asked for her to be recused? That's the next question I would ask after hearing that. Let me see what this guy says.
Trump's team has been pushing. Now, I think in this case, Justice Thomas gave Judge Cannon some cover because he was the first one to kind of approve of this novel legal theory that the appointment violated the Appointments Clause. So it's not as crazy because you have a Supreme Court justice and a concurrence kind of giving you the go-ahead to issue this decision. And I actually thought once I read Justice Thomas's concurrence in the immunity decision, I 100% predicted that this would be the outcome here. Wow. Because it gave Judge Cannon actually cover to make this decision today. But in any event, setting aside this decision, I mean, throughout the entire case, Judge Cannon has been kind of more favorable to Trump's team, and it's shown. And I think that Jack Smith will definitely argue for it. I don't know that the 11th Circuit will grant it, but he has a valid argument.
Indeed. And let me get the response here from Trump on Truth Social. He wrote, "As we move forward in uniting our nation after the horrific events on Saturday, the dismissal of the lawless indictment in Florida should be just the first step, followed quickly by the dismissal of all the witch hunts, the January 6th hoax in Washington, D.C., the Manhattan DA's zombie case, the New York AG scam, fake claims about a woman I never met, a decades-old photo in a line with her, then husband doesn't count, and the Georgia perfect phone call charges. The Democrat Justice Department coordinated all of these political attacks, which are an election interference conspiracy against Joe Biden's political opponent, me. Let us come together to end all weaponization of our justice system and make America great again." So I can't...
Fascinating development, Jim. I'll be back live if I hear any new news. Everything from here on out is speculation. Only important news is, like all the rest of the underserved people and the marginalized people, people of color, indigenous people, trans, gay people, people coming across the border looking for asylum, like all marginalized people have always known, the law will not save us. The law will not save you. You don't want nuclear secrets being sold? Don't vote them back in. Unfortunately, the people who, there are a lot of people who, no matter how bad things get, their day will look the same because they're not the ones that are being attacked, because their rights aren't the ones being thrown away. The Civil Rights Vote, the Voting Act, doesn't affect them, so they don't feel it. They know it's not the best, but they're not going to vote because, Biden didn't do enough. I mean, they know that the mortality rate for infants is skyrocketing in Texas ever since their draconian abortion laws. It's bad. It sucks. But I can't bring myself to vote for a guy who gives Israel weapons. Like all black women who are the number one voting base for Democrats know, while you sit around and wait, if that's what you're doing, that's what you're thinking of doing. Those of us who know that there is no other recourse but to fight for yourself, vote for yourself, and then march the next day to ensure the person you voted for does what you ask. This is a fascinating development. Maybe you too will find it fascinating. Thank you for joining me, Sonia. Thank you for joining me, Shelton Bailey. I've got other work to do. But if I hear anything else, any pertinent news, that's not speculation. If I hear anything about Jack Smith, I will be coming live again. So when you see me live, it's not going to be because I have some foolishness or overheard somebody's claim or unfounded remarks. If Jack Smith files something, an injunction or an appeal or something to get her taken off and recused, I'll be coming live again. So look for it. Look for it. While you're looking for it, look up places where you can help people go vote, where you can volunteer to drive elderly to the voting booth. While you're looking for it, look up the places that donate to organizations that give out the vote, maybe you can also give of your time and effort. While you're looking out for my next pertinent news hour, Google those things as well. Be reminded that the justice system will not save us. The only way to get rid of this, to stop nuclear secrets from being sold, to save the lives of CIA agents around the world, to save their identities from being given away to the Australian with the biggest smile or the neighbor with the biggest tits. Or the Saudi Arabian with the biggest pockets, is to vote. And if you don't think that that's worth your time, I'll be going live again. Maybe I can convince you then, because this is a fascinating development, people. See you soon.